Hello, Gwenters, and welcome back for another episode of Gone Gwenting. It's Temerian Tuesday. We tried to create a shield wall deck. It just didn't work. So we're doing Pincer maneuver. This is totally different, really weird from how it used to work, but basically you can increase your draw consistency using this deck so long as you don't hit a lockdown deck. And you can use War Elephant, Viraxis on Sace for massive points. We've seen that combo work before. But here we're also using Belohun to set powers of units power to 5. If you play into a Kahir like I just did and didn't record, remember that Belohun does not boost units. He sets their power to 5. So all of these units that we're going to play for low point value on the board, Vincent Mies, Temerian Drummer, Carrick Guards, Redanian Archers, Carrick Marine, Field Medic, Redanian Knights are all going to come onto the board at 5 because we are running a Devotion deck. You could swap some stuff out to make this, like if you wanted to add in an Igni or a Geralt Professional or a Geralt, you could do that. He's just going to set their power level to 4, so still valuable. He's also very good with John Natalis because Natalis plays for 2. Natalis will go to 5 points. So I had been running this with Ildiko. I don't know how much value you're going to get from her, to be honest. So, follow your heart. Well, let's jump into some gameplay, show you how it's working. And this is one of the few videos I'm recording while I'm on stream. So if you come check me out while I'm streaming, you can see into the studio of Gone Gwenting. All right, let's jump into a game. You also get to watch me drink water. We can even do water drinking as ASMR if you want. But that's for another day. Alright, fine. I finally queue into a shield wall deck. Everybody's playing Nilfgaard. I think everyone expected shield wall to come down, so much so that everybody planned for it to come down. Alright, this round, since we have a Dahlia and a Frigate in hand, we're basically just going to play Frigate. I'd really like to see AA come into our hand, so we're going to cycle back in King Belohun just because we're planning to get him with Pincer maneuver, and we can use that at any time just because it boosts that unit in hand. Field Medic is not so great now. There is Amphibious Assault, so great, glad to have that. We want to make sure we keep one Boiling Oil in deck, but otherwise in a decent place. Interesting to see Belohun come down. I think basically we're just going to be trading off Belohun plays against each other. So we'll go Dahlia into Frigate. Put Frigate on melee. And just go ahead and get started here. Wish Field Medic, it's just a medic. Not soldier, not anything special, so she's not all that impressive here. Had he not boosted this Belohun, we could have gone ahead and erased him with Boiling Oil. Great value out of these Redanian Archers, right? So here I think we want to actually get out one of these Drummers just to keep this Frigate alive against this Archer. They'll just be pinging against each other. And I think we can probably safely put back a Field Medic. We don't have to make that choice right now, though. Here comes his Carrick Frigate. We'll see if he uses Leader to protect that. Oh, should have thought about this, but it gets boosted up to 5 with his Belohun. Great play. That works fantastic. Now we basically just need to decide how deep we want to take this. I think we'll bring out an Archer, start pinging off the armor on his Archer. And one thing of note with War Elephant or other units, all right, he's playing for keeps. We can use them, but when you want to use them with Viraxis, you just have to be aware that they, in round 1, he does not give them Zeal, so you have to wait to use them until the following turn. Plus, he doesn't get Zeal or Formation, so you have to wait to use him as well. So, not the best option out there. But I think we're going to throw out our other Carrack Frigate and just get both of our point engines going. Because we're playing on red coin and keeping cadence with him, point-wise, I feel like I'm in a decent position to keep up the pressure. Clearly, he is worried about his shields here with Vindhalm. Vindhalm playing very well with Belohun. Also love his name, Hellcanis, Hellhound. You know, that's pretty awesome. Just get out our drummers here, boosting up our frigates, generating 4 points per turn out of each of these frigates. We'll probably bring down this Carrack Marine to boost up this drummer. If he gets removed, then we'll figure something else out after that. Unfortunately, all these units getting played to 5 with the extra armor with Belohun, bringing them just out of range of this boiling oil. Just making it very hard to keep up with. But we do have 2 Carrack frigates while he has 1. So, certainly not out of the realm of possibility. He was targeting this frigate. Now that we have 2 soldiers here, I feel comfortable going ahead and using that. And we're just going to keep going with him. He's still getting 4 points though with this Vindhalm play. I'd like it if he played a unit that didn't have armor to melee row, but you can't always get what you want. Oh, on Sace with the shield just represents so many points. Erasing our Carrack frigate from the field. Putting us in a tough spot. But I think we can actually pressure him here with War Elephant if we want to. Thing is, I don't know that we do. But because we do things for science around here, we're going to go ahead and do it. Just a great way for us to carry the day over him. And here I think we'll just use a boiling oil. We can go ahead and use a field medic to pull ahead. And we're going to put this boiling oil back in and pull out our Belohun. So we can put some ultimate pressure on him. We'll put back this boiling oil. Now we can go ahead and pass. So we've taken the win. We get last say. That could be really valuable. We did have to spend Elephant to get out of it, as well as Adalia. So we certainly will want to put some pressure on him. But he played his on Sace and his Vindhalm plus his Belohun already. So here I'm just trying to look for what's going to get me most valuable. I'd like to see my on Sace. Nautilus showing great points for me, as well as Redanian Knight. But I think we're just going to go ahead and hold off just so we get a guaranteed last say. Belohun's going to be great in the long round, and his Northern Realms deck with on Sace already out is likely going to struggle with a 10-point removal. Granted, if he has Seltkirk, he could cause us some problems, but we have added in Donamir, who is shielded, who gives dueling units a tough time. So let's go ahead and keep this boiling oil in deck. That's the 1 brick that we do have. And I think here we're looking for Donamir. Anna would be nice, but Redanian Knights are actually great value. So I think here we will keep our Carrack Guard just in case he has a Donamir. And we will save our Vincent just because I don't think he's going to get as much value against a Northern Realms deck. And for those of you on stream, I know you may ask for a deck. I still need to set that up in my Nightbot and figure out how I can set that up. So, still pretty new to streaming. I got to figure out how I can set up the deck to be auto-polled. All right, here I think we're going to go ahead and grab our Belohun. Just because he represents the most points over time for us with this Redanian Knight, with Nautilus, with Prince on Sace. I think Anna Stringer might be our target. She'll come out boosted by 2, which will not allow the Belohun trigger to work on her, but still great, get some pretty good value out of that. Alright, shielding up Ildiko seems like that would be a pretty good move to make. Really liking this this shield wall deck being used against me. Problem is, when you're using this shield wall deck, you run into some hard counters that are really difficult to deal with. Ooh, Selkirk coming down, getting boosted up to 10. Oh, some days you just can't win. Some days you just can't win.
I could draw a pecker on your forehead if you like.
Hard counters every time we tried to film a deck today. But we'll still put this one up just so people can see a shield wall deck working. I mean, I still like what I see. Alright, finally we can get some value out of our boiling oil. This coming actually for great value here, removing both shields, causing him some real problems. I have to prevent the use of Varaxis. So there's a couple of things I need to do. I'm going to use my Carrick City Guard to push off this Selkirk, and then we need to kill Ildiko all at once. Considering where we are with our Onsace, that could be difficult to do. So essentially we're going to need to get a Carrick Marine out, ready to boost up Onsace as soon as he comes out. But we really do need to kill this Ildiko. The presence of a War Elephant could be really problematic. I think also Bloody Baron resetting our Redanian Knight could be really problematic. So lots of things we should be concerned about here. We could also pull out our Donamir if we want. Because this Bloody Baron is being... oh, the problems we have these days. I think we're going to go ahead here and kill his Bloody Baron. It represents the highest point value. We could drop down our... Donamir, but I think that is the best choice that we have available to us. And now here we'll probably drop down Varaxis just to reset Onsace right away. We really do need him to get full point value, and if we can shut down this Ildiko, he may be making decisions based on this Ildiko remaining on the board. We have now imperiled that, and he may have to make tough choices. But for those of you wanting to see this deck, it is Temerian Tuesday, so this video is going up today. I couldn't film this earlier because obviously, you know, we hadn't seen the new decks come out. The update went live, at least for me this morning. So here again, even though this Selkirk might represent more value, erasing this Ildiko shuts down any other point play that he might have, at any unit that he's wanting to use an order with directly on. I think of Elephant as being the primary worry for us. Here instead we can bring out Anna for 6 points plus 2, so she represents 8. Varaxis resetting Carrick Marine, most likely option here. Selkirk being pushed back to ranged. That's the whole reason we did that. Still great value. Although with our Varaxis, we may want to actually play a soldier, just because it would have the most value. Donamir here as a 9 would represent 8 points of value with our Varaxis, but I think we are unfortunately in a stiff position. Vincent Mies would come down at 5 points with a 5-point removal. I don't think that's quite enough, but I think that's actually the best value we have available to us. And we just missed this game, but you have seen Shield Wall very effective in the mirror against another Northern Realms deck. But I think you could imagine cooler stuff we could have done. But we're going to queue into another game. Hey, you know, we record real content against real decks. And candidly, I was trying so hard to film like a really good Shield Wall deck. And it just, luck would have it, you got to see your opponent play a really good Shield Wall deck. So, you know, however that works out for you. Love this Ophira Anna Henrietta if you've played Blood and Wine. This is a great skin that you can get in one of the trees. The tree is otherwise pretty useless, but fun skin regardless. Okay, so you always want to keep one Boiling Oil in deck for John Nautilus. And then we always want to keep Belohun in deck so long as they are not running Lockdown, just so we can bring him boosted out at 10. Otherwise here, I'm missing a Carrack Frigate in hand with a Dahlia. So that's what I'm looking for, and I find it. I am a happy camper, as it were. And we're going to be able to play 2 Carrack Frigates, one with Crystal Skull. The reason we use Crystal Skull is to prevent mean Nilfgaard from doing rude things to us. But I think that this deck is going to prove to be much more effective against Nilfgaard than a Shield Wall deck is, just because there's so many status procs. Tourney Joust representing some damage here. I think actually though this is a poor play on our opponent's part. We can just use this Crystal Skull here to get him boosted up and get our other Carrack Frigate going. It would be equally as vulnerable, but if he's running a Tactics deck, this really puts him in a bit of a bind. Granted, we could have put a soldier down to regenerate this ability, but I want to force him into choosing between a potential active frigate where he will need to wait for the reset, or this other frigate, and he chooses to go for the one that needs the reset, playing into my hands directly. So that was exactly the type of decision I wanted to force him to make, and he made the wrong choice in my opinion. Granted, our ranged row is going to be a little stacked here, but we're going to be just fine. The only problem that we have now is we don't have a soldier, but we're going to go ahead and grab one using Nautilus here. Just want to make sure our Amphibious Assault finds full value. For those of you who are coming back to the game after some time, the reason this is important is mostly so... let's see here. Sorry, I'm trying to make decisions and think at the same time. We'll go for Carrack Marine, I think is great value here. But Amphibious Assault is an echo card, and we want to make sure it maintains its value over time. We're just going to boost up this frigate, put it out of reach of Enslave. And I think we're essentially to a point in this game where we can go ahead and pass. I think we'll erase this Magni Division just in case he wants to use his leader ability with a reset from Damien Delatour. I think this puts us in the safest position where he needs to somehow come out and tie this game by using only 2 cards. And him using War Council shows to me that he doesn't have what he wants. You know, this treason is still pretty good value here, but he is not going to be able to make an 18-point play in 1 turn. We're going to go ahead and pass and call his bluff and set up for a much better round in round 2. If he passes, he's losing on evens, and we'll go ahead and do some real damage here. So again, he's going down several cards in order to try to match us, putting himself in a really poor position. Artorias not a great option here. Artorias not representing very much value just because you have to play these. I mean, Imperial Brigade are now worth 4, so that is worth a little bit more points to him. He does get it out. He is down 2 cards. We'll see what he decides to do this next round. I forgot initially that Imperial Brigade had been reset, so Artorias now representing, as you just saw, a decent amount of points, but not a crazy amount. We can keep this Boiling Oil. and field medic. They can be cycled back in. But I'm just going to see if we can't draw into a little bit better options. I would like Redanian Knights. We get Redanian Knights. Hefty Helga not being the best choice in my opinion. Let's see here. I think actually what we want to do is check and see how many tourney jousts he has played. Both tourney jousts. So we're going to be a little bit crazy here with our amphibious assault. Put out a Redanian archer who's going to come boost it up to 6. Much harder to remove. Pull that shield off of his Helga and go up in points to ensure that we maintain our 2-card distance against our opponent. Removing the armor is a decent choice, but probably not one that's going to still get him the win. I mean, he does get some armor from that tactic, but we're going to go ahead and drop down our Donomir. His shield is going to make it really problematic for his Helga to find value. Again, we maintain our distance. He's already used Treason, so I don't have to worry about the cards next to Donomir getting obliterated. We do know that he is using Enslave with full tactics, and he's run out of options. Donomir just out of reach for our opponent, makes it so he can't use Enslave to close out the round. He's down 2 cards. Helga's not going to get it for him. We get the win. We didn't even get to play Belohun. So here we go. One more game. Let's see if we can actually play this deck how it was intended to be played. And thank you guys out there in the audience for participating in this video, having fun with us. I really appreciate you joining in on the Twitch stream, giving your thoughts. A lot of thoughts have been put in over the last 24 hours about how we could make a good Northern Realms deck. I think personally this is the best state I've seen it in. Double cross. Well, one comment here. The devs spent a lot of time rewriting leader abilities so you couldn't play 2 cards in one turn, but double cross seems to be flying directly in the face of that. Not really sure if they just forgot about it or if, as per usual, in my personal and humble opinion, the devs just love Nilfgaard and overlook some of their, superior card plays. I mean, this deck comes with like a 17 provision count buff, so it's like the most provision counts you can get, and you guarantee a play on your opponent's last 3 cards to see what he has to get maximum value. Is quite annoying. Here we're just going to erase Magna Division. Nilfgaard being a red coin abuse deck, we're just not going to let him see what we're playing until we absolutely have to. We know here that it is not Devotion because we're seeing Oneiromancy pull out that ball. Seeing that in round 1 leads me to believe this is a double ball deck. And that being the case, we are just going to be spamming units. We're going to pull out Amphibious Assault. It is possible that he's carrying squirrels, but I doubt it just because the double ball deck requires so many provisions to be spent on aristocrats in order for it to find value. People usually instead putting those over to soldiers. I think that's why we're seeing it being used with double cross for those 17 provisions. The other thing I'm really keen on doing this round is just drawing out as many poisons and locks as I can without having to spend anything on cards of great value. So here, obviously, Carrick Frigate's going to get poisoned off and die. So we're just going to focus our boosts on other units, try to get the most value that way. I think we'll probably be shuffling back in our Redanian Knights using Pincer Maneuver. One thing I do really like about Pincer Maneuver is that your opponent Your opponent cannot see what you're doing. They can't see what card you're switching, and they have very little say over what you are opting to do with your deck. So here we are at a decision point of whether or not we're going to try to take this round. I could bluff him into spending more cards, which is what I'm going to do exactly. Put this on drummer. We're going to go ahead and get our Belohun to hand just to make sure we get that carryover value. And we will put back this other Karak Marine. I think he is worth the least value overall for us. Now we see how much he is committed to this game in his next play. None of those cards giving him great options. Here, because I have Belohun in hand, I'm less concerned about maintaining my drummers. If you've seen this deck, you know we're not running Tridums. Tridums would play for 5, and they are great combo cards, but ultimately unnecessary. This Ardfane Tortoise representing some points for me if I can knock off that armor. Could do that with Redanian Archer. We would both go down to 4 cards, but losing on evens is something I'm probably more worried about here, especially knowing that my opponent is likely to pass next round after playing a Seer. With that said, we get 1, 2, 3 points with an upside of 3 more. I don't see a way to close this 20-point gap. We're going to go ahead and pass. But I think we are, if I'm being 100% honest, back into... we are back into a position where there is some storyline reflexiveness between units and cards, where Nilfgaard is now the true hard counter to Northern Realms. That working out well. We've also put our opponent in a position where if he wants to play a Seer, he's going to have to go down a card in the next round. Adalia being a key grab for us here. Redanian Archer being usually helpful, but we're going to put it back just to see if we can't grab Karak Frigate. But we get a lot of golds into hand. So many golds, in fact, that Adalia will not find value this round. So let's not run into any problems. What do you guys think? There is our Seer. We basically just have to decide how we want to counter her. Vincent being my ultimate counter to a Seer just because she represents such value. We just, as you guys know, need to stay up in points against our opponent. Because I have everything else I want, Amphibious Assault is also looking very juicy for me because we will be leading with Belohun. I don't want to get in a position where I'm boosting a unit who would otherwise already be boosted. So here, Karak Marine, Karak City Guard, looking like good options for us to just tempo out the opponent. We forced the Oneiromancy. He's decided to go all in. That being the case, we're going to drop our Belohun and do some crazy things. We'll save Adalia for next round. We will make it so that this round for him is just unwinnable. The lock being the greatest fear for me, him already having played 2 Van Morlehem Hunters, is something I'm less concerned about. Instead, I'm anticipating he will target the poisons on Belohun. I really need to peter out his Vincent before he can double smash with a poison. We could be in a tight spot with Roderick. So if he's able to get a poison, we will have some serious problems. We don't have a grab for that boiling oil. One thing I will say though, he's able to get 2 aristocrats. He poisoned it off the board. Some days you can't win. Here though, I think probably out of removal. We're just going to take that bet. We need to get rid of this Kahir. Otherwise, we cannot win this game. And I'm fine putting this elephant next to Donomir because of his shield. And stranding him.
Here, what then?
With things that he does not want. We now basically just have to opt for the card that's going to give him the least value. Obviously, Amphibious Assault is useless to him. Adalia almost certainly will be useless based on his last 3 cards. So instead here, I think we're going to line up a Donomir next to his Roderick. Notice that he has placed the spying symbol onto our Ansace. That indicates to me he's looking to make a coup de grace play. We're going to put coup de grace out of reach for both Roderick and Ansace by placing Defender there. It also is going to line up our War Elephant play. And for any of you who wondered why I think Vincent is broken, that is specifically why I believe Vincent is broken. Wonder no longer. He should only be able to remove units with negative status effects. It would also pressure a deck with ball. That's just... He places the War Elephant between his 2 fangs, not realizing that they're not soldiers, and he's just going to end up with the same net value of points. But we are where we are. I want to make sure that they both remain next to the War Elephant. For maximum value, I'd like to get Ansace boosted up. So here I think we're going to parlay out Carrick Marines. He's already pulled from our hand, so I am fine doing that. This card is going to be hard to remove, though. Doesn't have any status on it. But we're basically relying on Carrick Marine to boost up on Sace, reset with Viraxis, and do maximum damage. Poison onto Carrick Marine is fine.
Eyes closed. Now
We're going to get rid of this Thirsty Dame.
Karak was always meant to be mine, and it shall be.
War Elephant is just going to play for points here. Adalia will be dead otherwise. If I was him, I would pass. But not everyone is a genius. Alright, so at this point, we just have to play this War Elephant for maximum points. Playing onto a 2-point unit is the best option, as it gets maximum value that way. But I think we are dried up in points. Not having a target for Adalia really stung us there. And the fact that Vincent can auto-destroy when he had a poison in hand is something that needs to be fixed in the game, I think. It's just too much of a counter to defender units. And that's my PSA to close out this video. I think that had Adalia found a target, it would have been better. But still, Vincent being able to immediately remove that and find such great value in a single play that I have to play around so much as Northern Realms is really kind of ruining the fun of the current meta for me. This is the whole reason we moved to this Pincer deck instead of doing a Shield Wall deck, which the devs had drummed up as super great. The Shield Wall just not finding value against Nilfgaard right now. So anyway, Nilfgaard very strong in my opinion against most of these meta decks. Wait for some other videos. We're going to be coming out with Wild Hunt Wednesdays tomorrow. We will be doing a Nilfgaard deck. There's some really fun mechanics. Don't take me as talking trash on Vincent as my dislike for Nilfgaard. I actually really do like Nilfgaard a lot. They are one of the more fun factions to play, and they have got some really cool new leader abilities. But his ability to play 2 cards in one turn is something that the devs promised would not be happening. Nilfgaard, the only faction remaining with that ability with double cross, something that I think needs to be fixed with Vincent. Just makes the gameplay oppressive and obnoxious and kind of antithetical to everything they'd been working against, and kind of the general chess mindset that for me has made this game so much fun. But thank you guys for joining me on this journey. Hopefully next Temerian Tuesday we'll have a more ironed out deck that I've been able to play for with a little longer, that we can do some really fun stuff with. But until then, please leave your thoughts, your comments. I always appreciate them. Subscribe for more content, and we'll see you on the flippity flop. Get out there, good luck on the path, and keep on Gwenting.